Thank you very much.
It's Kaufman is Alive. I look at comic books new and old. Today I'm looking at a new comic book, The Uncanny X-Men, issue number 8, legacy number 708. It's a $4.99 comic book, written by Gail Simone. Javier Garron is on the interior artwork. David Marquez does the cover here. This is Raid on Graymalkin, part 4 of 4, the conclusion of this X-Men crossover event that went in between the last 2 issues of each Uncanny X-Men and the regular X-Men series. We got these 2 teams of X-Men converging on the Graymalkin prison, which is the former X-Mansion. We see that here in the background. Some cool looking like texture here on the like burning building in the background. I can't tell if it's like just pencil sketches. It looks really cool though. But this whole scene doesn't really happen in this book at all. I don't even know who this character is supposed to be because they don't show up in this book. It almost makes me wonder if there was some big reveal that kind of got switched around and changed in this series. We'll get into it, but sticking with the cover real quick, I really like this layout of the cover with the 2 X-Men teams. We got Cyclops' team and Rogue's team here, but they got everybody there though. It's a really cool looking drawing. So I really like the cover, even though it doesn't really show us what's going to be going on in this book. We finally get some backstory on the villains as well, which is something I've kind of been complaining about. I felt like this Dr. Ellis character seemed kind of one-dimensional, and I didn't know anything about her henchman Scurvy here. But I guess we learned she was a podcaster, she hated mutants, and this guy went on her podcast at one point, and he used to be a good-looking guy. And clearly they had an intimate relationship, but she just started using him, and she started calling him Scurvy for whatever reason. And he's a very, very powerful telepath. So he's taken control of this battle against the 2 X-Men teams here. And he's been influencing them in the past 2 issues, slightly making them kind of lose their temper against each other through his telepathic powers. Really awesome double splash page here. Raid on Graymalkin, it says, part 4. Finale on the text lettering here in the background. We see Professor X and Psylocke and Nightcrawler down here coming out of this hole in the wall where they rescued Xavier at the end of the last issue. And I do like the setting here in this, as we go through multiple pages of ads. I like the setting that Javier Garron sets up in this book. They're all fighting in this room with it's got all these walls with just all these like control panels and stuff, but he stays within this setting in the entire book. He's actually like drawing the backgrounds in here. We actually see the giant hole in the wall like becomes a part of the action here as people are coming in and out of it throughout this battle, and it's right on the edge of the door to where inmate X is. And at the end of the last issue, we found out that Professor X is not inmate X. It's somebody else altogether. We also learn in this issue that there are 5 powerful telepaths. They're called avians. And we learn Scurvy's one and Professor X is also one. And we learn that they're all dying from like cancer of the brainstem. So another really cool splash page here of Scurvy and Professor X. They're having a mental battle this whole issue here. And Rogue and Cyclops continue to go at it throughout this entire issue until all the way up into the last page. So I really like these 2 pages here. There's some great colors on this page. Lots of Wolverine butt, Cyclops butt. But Rogue's upset because even though they were being influenced by Scurvy, she still realizes that there's something about the two teams that's broken, and Scurvy was still able to influence them, and they were going at it. So we see the mental battle here being projected of Xavier and Scurvy. Xavier says, "Who is inmate X?" And Scurvy says, "Don't you know, Charles? Now without all the sedatives, can you not feel him?" We still don't find out who inmate X is. And then kind of a letdown, I feel like, at the very end here, we see Dr. Ellis come through with all her mercenaries, and we get a pretty awesome double splash page of both X-Men teams here. Beast has been laid out, so he's just hanging out in Juggernaut's palm there. It's kind of funny. I really like the design on this Calico character here. She's like a Valkyrie who rides this horse. She's got these flame powers or whatever, but she's one of my favorite new characters on this X-Men team. I like the design on this guy, Ransom, as well. But anyway, so Dr. Ellis, she holds the gun to Rogue here, and of course that doesn't intimidate Rogue, but she lets them know that's not really the weapon that she has at her disposal right now. She's got these two satellites pointed directly at Louisiana and Alaska, the two bases of the X-Men teams. And she says she'll use it on both of them. She explains to Rogue that she's got some mutants on her side. Basically, she's using them as slaves. And she's still got Sarah Gaunt trapped in prison here, and she could let her out at any time. Xavier's able to defeat Scurvy in this mental battle here. But again, Ellis explains her weapon is these satellites. And she tells the X-Men to leave. And leave her alone, leave the prison alone. Rogue doesn't want to leave without getting all the mutants out of there. Dr. Ellis tells her that she can take Calico, Jubilee, and Beast because they were in prison previously, but they can take them back as long as they just kind of leave her and her prison alone here. Professor X decides he's going to stay in the prison against the wishes of Rogue. Cyclops doesn't really mind. He kind of wants Xavier imprisoned. And he tells Magic to teleport him back, I guess to Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner land is what this looks like. But he says teleport him back before Rogue changes her mind. As soon as they get over there, Rogue, though, punches Cyclops, and Cyclops blasts Rogue, so they're still going at it. Rogue takes her team and leaves. Beast is telling Cyclops, he feels like you had no choice. Cyclops says there's always a choice. It's just that sometimes both options stink. And then we go back to Dr. Ellis saying, she's actually got the real big gun is still imprisoned here, inmate X. So, I don't know, kind of a letdown, kind of a messy issue, honestly. I feel like in the conclusion here, we just kind of get Dr. Ellis showing up, and she threatens the X-Men kind of successfully. And even though they do get their team members back, but not much resolution to any of this, I feel like. And we still don't know who Inmate X is. Dr. Ellis still has the Graymalkin prison, the former X-Mansion, under her control. I still don't like her and think she's a one-dimensional character. I feel like the little bit of character building they tried to do at the beginning of this issue, just too little too late here. So hopefully she doesn't show back up for a while, but I have a feeling she's kind of going to be the main villain of this series going forward. So we'll see. That's all I got for today. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. I post daily comic book reviews, and I will see you guys on the next one. Go read comics.